We're long overdue for a chat, everybody. It's time to talk New York Jets training camp, storylines, questions, Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson. Without further ado, let's go. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome wherever you're watching, whether it's live or after the fact. It's all the same in my book. We're on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page to over 30,000 New York Jets fans. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, baby. And of course, on the Twitter sphere, verified, baby, at BoyGreen25 as well. Streaming live in those three places. And I heard from a couple of fans. A couple of fans reached out recently and said, Paul, where's the straight up live streams where it's you, it's the fans, we're chatting, we're talking it up. And they're right, quite frankly. You have to call it how I see it. And there have not been enough of those going on. So we got to get them back into the swing of things. We do have a very busy week here on the channel. I want to give a couple of plugs before we get started. On Tuesday, live, another live stream coming to you. Tuesday, 4:30, this Tuesday, June 27th at 4:30 will be, I'm trying this concept out. I'm curious what you guys, the fans, think. We're doing a AFC East live debate, Jets expert, myself, against a Buffalo Bills guru, and we will go back and forth arguing the merits of who will reign as AFC East champs in 2023. That stream is hanging live. It's in my YouTube section. If you just hit the live button, you'll see it's a live stream coming up. And in that description is where you guys can submit your questions if you want to get featured on the live show, that one presented by Heavy Sports. So, guys, feel free to check that out on Tuesday. We're supposed to be having a Hall of Fame interview. There's some big Hall of Fame stuff, obviously, coming for the Jets to kick off the offseason. We have a big guest coming there. We have a current Jets player. I would even go as far to say as a Jets starter is supposed to be joining us this week on the show as well. So, super busy. We're going to have a lot of content. Hope you guys can enjoy it all. Wherever you're watching right now, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, doesn't matter. Submit your questions or comments. We're going to be talking Jets training camp, a couple of things that have come across my docket that I want to discuss. And, of course, anything you guys want to bring up on the program, feel free to do so. This show by the people, for the people, baby. So keep it coming. I see we have one coming in here. Throw up Snowball. Big fan of the show on our YouTube page. How's that leg, Paul? Hope you're feeling better. I'm going to be honest, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I appreciate Snowball, you and a few people that have texted and tweeted and everything. I really appreciate the support. It's cool that you guys care enough to ask, so thank you. Got a big doctor's appointment later this week. Still got the big robotic leg on. Got the crutches in front of me. I will tell you this. Here's a candid moment before we get into all the Jets talk. Having an injury of this magnitude, for those who don't know, completely tore my ACL, also had some meniscus damage, complete reconstruction surgery. Not to assume that everyone knows that information. And I am I was applying to be a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. I've been practicing, I've been a martial arts practitioner for the last 15 plus years. And I was attempting a defrigi, which is a back spin kick. And completely tore my leg. First time I've ever had an injury of this magnitude. Complete reconstruction surgery. And I'm on the mend. So I'm looking to the guys like Breece Hall or even in the past, Adrian Peterson, all these guys for guidance and trying to see how they went through the process. And I'll be honest, it is a very lonely venture. There's dark corners, dark things because you're just alone a lot. You just have your time to think about your thoughts. And I'm not, I'm not as social in this setting, obviously with the knee. So it's getting better slowly but surely. Still swollen, still all kinds of intricate details that I'm going to bore you guys with, but man, it is painful, and I don't wish it upon my worst enemy. That's for sure. But Snowball, thank you for asking. You guys help me, keep this train rolling. Let's go to Facebook here. Zandy Adrian on our Facebook page. How seriously do you think JD is looking at Dalvin Cook? This is a great question because I think there are a lot of people that have, a perception that say Joe Douglas, he would never spend the kind of moolah at the running back position. Some people would say that, and history would tell you that you're right, Sandy. And I'm not saying you're saying this, but you're like throwing it out there. I think it's a great question. How seriously is Joe Douglas taking this? In my opinion, I think very seriously. For a couple of reasons. First off, the draft scoop was out there. Some Jet fans bought it, some Jet fans didn't. And that scoop was around the draft. There was a rumor that originated from the Detroit Lions that said Brad Holmes, the general manager of the Lions, said, hey, if we didn't take Jahmyr Gibbs, the Alabama running back, with the 12th overall pick, the Jets were going to take him at 15. That's what Detroit said. Jet fans naturally rolled their eyes, said, yeah, sure, pal. Okay. And I did too. When I heard that, I'm like, no way. That doesn't make any sense. Obviously, they got Brees Hall, blah, blah, blah. And then I will tell you, I did an interview the next day. I won't do the full deep dive of the story because I've told it a few times. But Eric Allen, who's the senior reporter for the New York Jets, joined me on my radio show the day after. Again, it does not matter anymore. The draft results are in. The Jets took Will McDonald. Like, the story's over. Okay. And he mentions the running back in the first round thing. And I'm like, man, really? That's odd. And then I just do some more digging. Dane Brugler says, oh, yeah, the Jets were hot head, head over heels. They were hot for him. And the more digging I did from people I talked to, they all seemed to corroborate the story that the Jets were interested in Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs for that matter. But the specific rumor is Jahmyr Gibbs. And if Joe Douglas would have taken a running back with potentially the 15th overall pick, then why wouldn't he sign Dalvin Cook as an unrestricted free agent? So long story short, we go back to this and Robert Saleh's public comments. I mean, he completely DeAndre Hopkins, hell no, we love our group. Dalvin, obviously is the word he used. Obviously, we're looking into that one. Obviously, we're turning the stones over on that one. That one to me was a whoa. As a guy that routinely cuts up press conference clips and tweets them out to the universe, the ones that stand out to me in some form or fashion. That one perked my ears, journalistic antenna, eyebrows like, oh, what did you just say, Robert Saleh? Replay the clip. Oh, that's interesting. Tweet button. Hit it on the old Bird app. Boopity bop. Oh, that's interesting to me, especially when you consider prior context. So I think they're looking into it. Dalvin Cook is an interesting being because he's a guy that as soon as he was released into the ethos, he does the interview on the Rich Eisen show with Tom Pelissero and says, hey, baby, we're going to want the bag. That was what Tom Pelissero reported, that he's not going to take some $5-6 million deal. Like, he wants significant money. That comes out at first. And a lot of Jet fans who maybe didn't even think about Dalvin Cook initially are like, hell no, look at that money. Like, come on, man, that ain't going to happen. But as time has gone on here, and I think it's a harsh reality of the position, I think Dalvin in the most recent interview, the SiriusXM interview, he says, hey, he said two things that are of interest to me. One, it's got to be the right fit. Number two, hey, if I got to take less reps, I would do that at the right spot. That to me is fascinating because before people said, well, Brees Hall, like, why would Dalvin want to come here? He could go to other places and be the guy. But all of a sudden, Dalvin's like, well, in the right place, I don't have to be the guy. You're like, whoa, okay. Because the Jets are this unique situation with Brees Hall coming back. And we'll give you some positive Brees Hall stuff, by the way. Sent out some tweets from an interview over the last week. Although I think the interview was actually recorded a little before that with OTAs. But nonetheless, that's when the clips were released by the Jets. We'll give you some Brees Hall positivity. But to me, my God-honest opinion, and I will tell you this, guys. People are going to love or hate me. I fully understand that. I get lit up every day on social media, not complaining, just documenting. I get lit up all the time. People don't like the crazy voices, the hand motions, all the words. It's just me. So I understand people hate that, okay? But what I will promise you is all the words that come out of my mouth are what I believe. There's no filter. There's no nothing. I just give you what I believe. And for better or worse, you guys can take that. I believe the running back position is an issue. If Brees Hall is fully healthy, I don't think it is. But I can't guarantee that. Robert Saleh can't guarantee that. Joe Douglas can't guarantee that. God can't guarantee that because everyone recovers from an ACL differently. That's the truth. everyone recovers differently. So as positive and optimistic, Salah, Breece Hall, or God knows anybody can be, they can't guarantee. I go to the Tommy Boy line, a guaranteed piece of shit in the box. I can guarantee it. That's all I can do. If we're going to go, sticking a head up a T-Bone's ass and doing but I take the butcher's word for it. You see what I'm saying here? I'm going all these Tommy Boy references. Like, the point is that, yes, Joe Douglas would be doing a disservice if he didn't look into Dalvin Cook. Number one, because I think the Jets have a need. You look at the running back room, there's no guy on the team that I just slam it down and go, I love it. Breece Hall's coming back from a torn ACL. Who knows how he's coming back? Could he come back full strength? Maybe. Adrian Peterson did it, I guess. Michael Carter had a rough year, okay? 3.5 yards per clip. The Michael Carter defenders came out in the Twitter streets a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think so. Izzy hasn't played a snap in the NFL. Hasn't played a gosh darn snap. So all the people saying, oh, Izzy, he's the solution. Based on what? Based on what? That's what I ask. And then Zonovan Knight, an undrafted free agent that, by the way, was hanging on the Jets practice squad. Anybody could have had him if they wanted him. No one did. Not one person. Then the Jets, after he made the initial 53, just hung out to dry in the practice squad for like ever. And no one wanted him. Not a single person. And then the Jets brought him up. He had the nice pop against, I think it was the Bears, and they fizzled out. So, like, to me, all the people that say loaded running back room and it's slam dunk, what the hell are you talking about, Paul? I'm like, take off the green shades, man. I love the Jets. I'm the most optimistic Jets fan on the planet. But if we're being honest, which, by the way, I started this rant with saying that's what I am all the damn time. I just say how I feel. You don't have to agree. You may not like what I'm serving you on a silver platter, but take it. It's some tough medicine happening right here. So, yes. Long answer to your question, Sandy. But he should be seriously looking at it. And everything we understand, he is seriously looking at it, as they should. I would love to bring him in. It would make me feel spectacular for him to be in. Because with this unique situation I started this with, Breece Hall may not be his full self to October, maybe. The Jets play a lot of important games. Week 1, Monday Night Football. Week 2, at Dallas. I'll be at that game, by the way. Week 3, at home against New England. Week 4, Sunday Night Football. That's important. What's that, Week 5, Denver? I'm doing this off the top of my head. I don't know. Week 6, Eagles. Week 7, those are some important games. You can't be flushing stuff down the toilet. That can't be happening, Jets. So if you want to bring in Dalvin Cook, you'll lock in the running back position early on. This is a guy that's had four straight, not one, not two, not three, 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons, 4 Pro Bowl campaigns. People could say the analytics about he's going downhill, blah, blah, blah. He's better than what we got. Facts. He has a better resume. Facts. The numbers speak for themselves. And he can come in and be the guy at the beginning of the season. Then when Breece Hall's ready to come back, you have this nice tandem. Keep them both healthy, extend the shelf life of both players. I don't know, man. Makes a lot of damn sense to me. A lot of sense. Of course, it'll come down to the bottom dollar. If Dalvin's willing to take a little bit less on the moolah to try to get a chance to win a chip, Jets might be the place. And, of course, the other reason, you don't want the Bills getting him. You don't want the Dolphins getting him. I don't know about the Bills. I don't think that's realistic. They just spent a lot of money on Leonard Floyd. But you get my point. You don't want him to go into a rival. You want to bring him in for yourself. And it's a double dip. You prevent a rival, block a rival. Hey, now, not getting him, but we are. I would look into it. Great questions, Andy, to kick us off here. And to all the best, dude. Appreciate it. Kareem, I tore my ACL in middle school. I was ready to go the next day. Damn. Okay, Kareem. All right, you're my new role model. Drop the inspirational speeches, if you may. Hawk in here. Hawk, what's up, brother? Before anything else, wishing you a full recovery, Phenom. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Chip. That's what I'm doing. Chip every day. It just like Breece Hall said earlier today in a video. You can't win the Super Bowl today, he's saying of the Jets, right? There may be Super Bowl expectations out there, but we can't win it today. But we could do this to inch it a little bit closer. I can't fully recover from the ACL today. But what I will do is my workouts I've been given 4 times a day, have a positive outlook, and try to attack every day. That's what I can do. So chip. That's how I look at it. Thank you, Phenom, for that. Hawk, the extra chutzpah. Yes, sir. We bring it. F the haters. Captain joining us. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate you. Love your work, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Paul Molina, I agree with you, Paul Green. Yeah, damn right, as you should. Vincenzo, Paulie, what's good, brother? Miss you, man. Yeah, again, I'm glad that we're doing this. It's been too damn long, quite frankly, for us to do these live streams. Ragnar Jet jumping in. Ha, Paul, nice. Why shouldn't it? You figure you put that little box under your pillow at night, the guaranteed fairy might come by and leave a quarter. Am I right, Ted? I love that line. It's the best movie of all time. I mean, it just can't be debated. Yes, we need Dalvin. Edgar Silva with a healthy reminder. Late night show. Hit the like button. Guys, again, whether you're watching live or after the fact. The free way, each and every one of you, whether you're in here for a second or an hour, the whole show, which I'm hoping to be on tonight. You know what? The free way you can contribute and help grow the channel is by hitting that like button. YouTube loves it. Fans love it. It helps expand the growth of the channel. We recently hit 5,000 subscribers. God bless each and every one of you for spending even a second of your time here on the channel. It means the world. And then, of course, the subscribe button. If you like what you see, hit subscribe, tell a friend. I'd appreciate it. Let's go back to Phenom here. Today, we can't have enough insurance for Breeze. MC Bam is here. Are nice pieces, but Dalvin Cook, no brainer. If we're being honest, if we take the shades off, Dalvin is better than all the names. By the way, even better than Breeze. Okay? Breeze showed a lot of nicety here in year number 1, but he had a torn ACL. Who knows how he's coming back from that? So you look at these names, they're nice. Like, is he explosive, exciting? Bam. I like the ruggedness, and also obviously could be the return man he was at NC State. Has a little pop to him. I remember he ended practice last year on one of the practices with a 50-yard, rush to the house. Loved it. Michael Carter is a guy that doesn't have that burner speed. What hurt him in his rookie years, he didn't have that extra gear to run away from people. He got caught from behind a little too much. Inconsistent hands. Remember the drop against Denver in his rookie year? That was rough. And then this year, like I said, I think it's a 3.5 yards per clip. I mean, just gross. This is a results-oriented business, and he didn't deliver. Could he deliver next year? Of course he can. I'm not writing the epitaph. I'm not saying he's dead, but he's got to bounce back. I don't right now. He's got to make me a believer. I need to see to believe in this particular case. I need to see to believe. Right now I don't. So that's why I'm going. That's why if I was running the shop, Dalvin Cook, pen to paper, baby. Pen to paper. That's how I'd feel. Ragnar, I could get a good look at a T-bone by sticking my head up a bull's ass, but I'd rather take a butcher's word for it. Again, so many great lines. It's the most quotable movie of all time. Just randomly. Did I catch a niner in there? Again, it's just there. I will always favorite movie all the time. Love Chris Farley. God rest his soul. David Spade, by the way, was kind of cool. I tweeted out a clip of the Chris Farley movie, and I probably should just randomly do that for the comedic effect. David Spade liked the tweet. I was like, cool. All right, David Spade. Shout out. David Spade. Yeah, baby. Let's see. Even Big Game Lenny would make us a top 5 RB room. I do like some insurance for Breach. Yeah, there are, let me see off the top of my head. I think there's 4 names, and I'll say them out to you guys right now that I believe would be either an upgrade, insurance, whatever words you want to use. Obviously, Dalvin Cook is obvious, okay? He has this proven resume. There's a lot of stuff going on with Dalvin Cook, which is obvious. And obviously, with that, you're going to have to pay a price for a player of his caliber suddenly shaking free. He won't sign the veteran minimum contract. So he's an obvious upgrade. He would be number 1, of course. So put him on the list. Other names. Let's go to yours first, Hawk. Leonard Fournette. He's a guy that is rugged, physical, and he brings some juice, baby. He brings some juice. Now, he and all of these names I'm going to say are not perfect players. I'm not saying they're going to the Hall of Fame, but when you have a roster like the Jets, which, by the way, recently ranked number 8 most complete roster in the entire NFL. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, people. Okay? So think about that. I'm not looking for drastic changes here. Maybe those can happen if those suddenly present themselves. But you're looking to, if you're Joe Douglas, hope for the best, expect the worst. So you need to prepare for the worst case scenarios that could happen. So if they do happen, you're not scrambling, running all over the place. That's why running back, to me, I would add one of these names. Leonard Fournette is a perfect guy. He has the obvious connection to Nathaniel Hackett. They were together in Jacksonville. He's a system guy. You bring him in dirt cheap, and he's just a proven guy in the room. He has a Super Bowl ring on his finger, former top 5 pick. I like what he brings to the table. So Leonard Fournette would be on my list. Another guy, Ezekiel Elliott, who I know fans just have an opinion on Ezekiel Elliott. He's still incredibly young, 27 years of age. He's still young. He's a great pass blocker. I mean, fantastic. I know there's not tangible stats. There probably are on some analytic-based website, but like it's not a sexy thing, but he protects your quarterback. You love that. Red zone guy, touchdown machine. He has like, I don't know, I'm spitting the number off the top of my head, something like 20-something touchdowns over the last 2 years. He just has a nose for the end zone. You can't teach that. And you're not relying on him to be Adrian Peterson or Eric Dickerson or Walter Payton. He's coming in to have a role. Him and any of these guys we mentioned are coming in to have a role. I like Zeke. So we mentioned Dalvin. We've mentioned Leonard Fournette. We've mentioned Zeke, and the last name on the list, one of my personal favorites, Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is a guy who's still available for money. Not a lot of money either, just money, especially when we're getting here to the end of June. Kareem Hunt would be a guy that can run the ball, catch the ball to the backfield, and pass block. I love him. I love him. Now, the person off the field, legitimate questions. You have to check all that out and feel comfortable as an organization. He has a history, and you have to be comfortable with that. So I say that off the top. However, statistically and everything else speaking, he's exactly what you'd be looking for, and he comes dirt cheap. So in terms of bang for your buck, I think I'd probably have Dalvin Cook number 1 for obvious reasons, Kareem Hunt number 2, Zeke number 3, and Leonard Fournette 4. And no slide on Leonard Fournette. I like the guy. I think he could be nice too. Rico the Pup, how do you feel comparing Kareem Hunt and Dalvin? Both were a step slower, but I'm 4 Hunt, short yardage, pass block, receivers go. Again, Rico, you took a lot of the words out of my mouth. If we're talking bang for buck, I think Dalvin Cook straight up is a better running back than Kareem Hunt, if I'm being honest. Now, Kareem Hunt did lead the league in rushing. I believe that was his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was 2017. He was a Pro Bowler that year. Like, Dalvin Cook is a better player than Kareem Hunt. No questions asked. I'm not debating that. But if you're saying Dalvin's, I don't know, I'm making this up, $6 million this year, Kareem Hunt's $2 million, $2.5 like you're like, like where's the money going? Obviously, the two big things that are hanging over the Jets are the Quentin Williams extension possibility and Aaron Rodgers restructure. Those two things can drastically affect the money both in 2023 and 2024 and beyond, depending on how the Jets structure things from that perspective. So if you want to go cheaper at running back to go pick up a linebacker, to go pick up a safety, or go pick up a whatever, then okay. But if you just have the money, you're all in anyway, then pay the extra for Dalvin. But I think both players are dynamic. Both players bring a lot to the table. But if you're talking bang for your buck, it's probably Kareem Hunt. But Dalvin Cook is the better player. Straight up. Ragnar, is there no way D-Hop's coming? I don't want to say no way. I mean, Robert Saleh seemingly said in public, nah, we're good. So that seems to be D-Hop publicly has kind of went, hasn't given like an official no to the Jets, but kind of vibe, feeling, not great. But hey, anything can happen. To me, again, I go back to a main point I made. I don't want to beat a dead horse here on this topic, but the Jets pursued OBJ seriously, heavily. That is not fake news. That's not nothing. That's straight up. So if you would pursue OBJ, why the hell wouldn't you pursue Hopkins on paper? That just Hopkins is better than OBJ. OBJ's sexier, right? You know, he's more in your face, but D-Hop is better recently. He's better historically. Now, the practice stuff and all that, you know, his lack of practicing. We're talking about practice. So that could bother some people. Maybe just doesn't have a great relationship or rapport with Rodgers. So he's like, I don't know. I didn't see the list, obviously, but I don't think it's 0%, but I would put it lower on the scale. If it's Dalvin or D-Hop, like who's more likely? I think Dalvin is a lot more likely. So you can never say never. All right, let's go through a couple more here. Then we'll get to some of the things we had in the headline here. Aaron Rodgers contract, Zach Wilson. We'll get into all that. I wanted to answer a lot of questions, though. Hawk, the good thing about all these guys is that they're all good in pass protection. Yep, 100%. All three of those guys. Hunt, Cook, Lenny can all pick up a blitz better than anyone on our team. That's for sure. 100%. Yeah, think about the young guys. Izzy's a rookie. Like, come on. Zonovan's an undrafted free agent. Come on. And then Michael Carter, he's like, you know, he could be one of the Munchkins and Willy Wonka. Hey, I'm vertically challenged, too. I'm not throwing anyone under a bus. If I did, it'd be a human speed bump with how small he is. But, you know, come on. Like, pass blocking is an important piece. When you bring certain running backs in, you know they can't pass block, you can kind of predict what you're going to be doing on offense, or it's coming out quick. If you have a guy like Hunt, Cook, or Lenny in there, you're like, ooh, there's a lot of possibilities. I think that's it. Greg, hope the knee's feeling better. Thank you, Greg. Yep, chip. Slowly but surely. Ragnar, Holt Clemons going to have a breakout season, Paul, play inside? First off, I hope so. He's my favorite player on the team. I love Mecole Clemons. I love his moxie. I love how he is with his teammates. His teammates have completely bought into who he is. I think he's going to get a lot of interior play. We have not gotten the official number, but he weighs in between 290 and 297 pounds. He was listed at 270 last year. We did a video on it. If you guys want a deep dive on that, on the physical transformation, which is scary because he was scary already. Now he's like, whoa, watch out for that guy. So he could be. We'll see with the rotation. He's going to get reps and opportunities, but enough to truly break out, we'll see. But I freaking love Mecole Clemons. A lot of that could fill potentially the defensive tackle gap if he and JFM play more inside, which is something Jeff Ulbrich, the Jets defensive coordinator, hinted at. David, I heard that Brandon Marshall believes that the Jets are going to beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I missed that, but I heard obviously Marshall potentially coming out of retirement, that's kind of stuff. We'll get our chance. The Jets have never beaten the Eagles. It's one of those weird fun facts. They play them in week 6, home, MetLife Stadium. I'm looking forward to that one. I entered for tickets. I know Woody Johnson just had like a giveaway. Ooh, that'd be nice. In the press suite or something. Sexy. That'd be one. The Eagles are a really good team. Now, I wonder how good. How are people going to respond to that weird 4th and 1 thing and then Jalen Hurts coming out of nowhere, highest paid quarterback in football after like 1 year? Kind of like, But we'll see. We'll see. They're a super good roster. Game 1, where are they realistically placing Mekhi? Ragnar with the great questions. Right now, my gut, right tackle. And I hate it because, like, and no disrespect to Dwayne, who's been playing left tackle forever. He's earned his place. But Mekhi looks fantastic, man. You drafted him with the 11th overall pick, Mekhi Becton, to be your blind side protector. So for him to be, all the little practice clips we've seen are him playing right tackle. I think it's just, to me, I think this is what's going to happen. We'll see if Predictor Paul is right on June 25th. Here's what I think is going to happen. Obviously, Silas, man, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think when the clock strikes midnight, okay, when they're trying to plant that glass slipper on Cinderella's cankle, they're going, I think when the truth hits, and the truth shall set us all free, the first press conference of Robert Saleh, when the media goes, hey, Coach Saleh, whatever, Josh Johnson, the independent, hey, Mekhi Becton, where's he going to play? I think he's going to go, Mekhi Becton's our right tackle, Dwayne Brown's our left tackle. Boom. And I think tweet. Rich Amini, Connor Hughes, boop, boop, boop. All those guys. I think they're all going to say that. That's what I believe. I believe Mekhi Becton's been playing right tackle. I believe he's not obviously said it publicly. I think he's publicly in his way from Newsday said, hey, I don't want to play right tackle, but I think that's where he's going to play. Now, the only hiccup in that, and I'm sticking by it, again, I think Mekhi is going to be the right tackle. The only potential hiccup to me is the Dwayne Brown not being ready for camp, because that will lead the Jets to make one of two decisions. Number one, you have some rando playing at left tackle, and Mekhi's playing on the right. If I'm Mekhi Becton, I'm pretty pissed. You're not giving me a fair chance at left tackle. You're playing Joe Schmo at left tackle while Dwayne Brown's hurt, and I'm sitting here over at right tackle like, what the hell? I thought you said I could earn it, coach. That could create a little bit of awkwardness in the locker room. Number two, you play Dwayne's hurt. Dwayne's unavailable. Mekhi plays left. As soon as Dwayne comes back, you yank Mekhi and throw him over to right, which would probably also piss me off on Mekhi Becton, because now you're being herky-jerky. You're George Fanting me to death. You're saying, hey, play left tackle. Just kidding, you're playing right tackle. And that's not a promising foundation to grow, okay? If from what offensive linemen have heard in the simplest form, is that you're playing left tackle to right tackle. It's like wiping your ass with the other hand. And I don't know how many of you out there have just said, hey, let's get freaky tonight and let's wipe our ass with the other hand. But I could tell you, as someone who accidentally, when your arm falls asleep, let me try it, not as effective. Let's just put it that way. Takes some getting used to, if I may. So to that point, I can understand why that could be a whole issue too. So long story short, I think Mekhi's playing right tackle. It's not what I want. You asked what I think is going to happen. What I think is going to happen is Mekhi Becton's playing right tackle. I think he will be the starter at right tackle day one. That's what I believe. I'd love for him to be the left tackle and Dwayne Brown to be the expensive backup. Fine with me. More depth, the better. And then play Billy Turner, Max Mitchell. I don't think it's realistic Dwayne plays right tackle. So, you know what? Mekhi left, Dwayne emergency backup, and then whoever, Billy Turner, Max Mitchell, God knows who, at right tackle. That's what I think. But that's what I would say, like, hey, that would be something I'd be rooting for because, like, again, Mekhi Becton was drafted with the 11th overall pick. However, I ultimately believe it will be Dwayne and Mekhi. Left, right. That's what I believe. Good question, Ragnar. A pressing question for training camp. That's a good question. Zandy, after Hardman spent what can only assume was a mini fortune on his jet chain, which by the way, quick detour. I just have to say, I did a piece on so Breece Hall, they're all doing it from Al the Jeweler, right? Al the Jeweler did the Breece chain, the Hardman chain, and obviously the Sauce chain. So I did some behind the scenes detail. I spoke to a jeweler. I did a fun piece. I'll probably have to do it for Mecole Hardman as well. But I dug in on the jewelry and saw how much Breece's was. I don't remember the number off the top of my head. I wrote the article. We could probably look it up. But I want to do something similar for Mecole's. But oh my goodness, I can only imagine. I mean, that probably cost him my kidney. But anywho, back to the question. Do you think he's going to stick around longer than his 1-year contract? Great question. Obviously, Mecole Hardman read the room, and while he didn't say it, like he said, okay, I think the Jets during their free agency pitch must have said, hey, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers. He's like, oh, okay, sign. Because I don't think he would have done with Zach Wilson. All respect in the world to Zach Wilson. I just don't think it's going to happen. We'll talk about the Zach Wilson relationship in a little bit. But, I mean, let's be honest there. So to your point, can he stick around longer? Absolutely. I mean, think about the room. Corey Davis is set to be a free agent next year. Denzel Mims is set to be a free agent if he was still here. So you start going through some of these names. I mean, there is some openings because obviously Hardman could play in the slot, could play on the outside. We'll see how the Jets utilize him in that sense. But I think there's a chance. We'll see if he gets enough reps. Where does he stand ultimately in the pecking order? That's an interesting question. I think Garrett Wilson, obviously number one, but what about Lazard, Corey Davis, the tight ends, running backs? Like, where does Hardman fit? From everything we've heard, though, that Hardman said, hey, the Jets didn't tell me I'm some gizmo gadget-looking guy. I'm going to be a receiver. So if he truly gets that promise, I think, yes, he can deliver and show some chutzpah. But if the Jets quote-unquote promise that, and then they use him gizmo gadget, he'd probably be like, see ya, suckers, and move on respectively. So we'll see what happens. Oh, my goodness, I see a super chat coming in here. Sweet Caroline, which, by the way, is an available option for everyone on the YouTube. Booyah! Holy crap. Jorge Perez, unbelievable. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. This is wowza. Merry June Christmas, baby, here on the 25th. That option's available for all you guys on the YouTube Super Chat feature. If you'd like to support the show in a way beyond liking the video or subscribing, you could do one of these suckers at any price point that is comfortable for you, Jorge. Thank you, my man. Wow. Okay, beautiful. Let's get to your question here. I think we win our first game against Philly. We have to make sure that our receivers are spot on with Rodgers. Rodgers has expectations of his receivers. I know his Green Bay buddies will be ready. Now we need that Wilson and others are ready. All right, let's go through a couple of these. The Philly thing, I don't have the record in front of me. It's like 0-12 or something against Philly. So I would love that. A team that was just in the Super Bowl, which, by the way, it's not back-to-back, but it's 2 of 3 weeks. You have Kansas City, of course, Sunday Night Football week 4, the first Sunday Night Football game in over a decade. And then 2 weeks later, you have the Eagles. Also, both of those games at home, which are cool. Both teams are in the Super Bowl. I mean, some people are afraid of that. Me, Jorge, I am embracing it. Give it to me, baby. I want these opponents. I want these primetime games. I want these sexy opportunities, okay, to move up to the next level. I want these opportunities. When we're doing the NFL Power Rankings, there won't be the same garbage that there was this past year. I don't know, to play backup quarterbacks. No. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, like, there are going to be some big boys. So if the Jets are winning, there's no excuses. They're like, oh, watch out for the Jets. That's the conversation. I find the receiver thing fascinating. It was cool to hear Aaron Rodgers talk about it in his final press conference before broke for camp. And, I read the article from The Athletic, I believe it was, where Aaron Rodgers talked about, or people around Aaron Rodgers talked about the subtle hand signals where, it comes up to the line of scrimmage and they're supposed to be running to the right on a zone right read. And all of a sudden they do a little, blue bird or a little, quick helmet tap, look out there, a little zoom, a little bit of that, a little You can't see me, a little John Cena, maybe a little, whatever one of those are, maybe. I just love it. I love it. I love the subtleties. Obviously, it takes a lot of practice. Let's just put it that way. It takes a lot of practice to have the intricacies to be able to match that, because you got to make sure the defense can't read it. You can't go Bluebird Cobra. And they're like, I know what Bluebird Cobra is. I've watched my tape. So subtle things like a quick little this or a little that or whatever it is. So it's going to take a lot of practice. That's what training camp is going to be for, to work on some of these intricacies. And I believe it's going to start as simple, basic. And then as you go through the season, they will progress to a different level. It's his first year in this particular system, not first year in the system ever, obviously, with Nathaniel Hackett, but first year to kind of assimilate all the guys of the Jets into the picture. So those subtleties are going to be key, and I'm going to love it. Can you imagine in the red zone where the Jets have struggled over the years, and he just gives Garrett Wilson, almost like whisper across the line of scrimmage, hey, we're throwing a jump ball to old G-Dub over there. Stop it. We dare you. But there's going to be the subtleties. I shared the play. It was a Brian Baldinger play where Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers motioned him. Aaron Rodgers doesn't love motion, but in the red zone, he motioned Devontae Adams from the right side of the formation to the left side. He saw it was man-on-man, one-on-one. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, Devontae, come back. And he comes back, snaps the ball real quick, and then Devontae does one of those quick outs. And he just snaps the ball and throws it almost immediately. And there was just no way. I believe Jalen Ramsey was on him. I think it was a Rams-Packers game. Jalen Ramsey just straight up, when he motioned him to the left, Jalen's following him. And then he's like, quick back, reverse, U-turn, and then comes back the other way, snaps the ball. And by the time he gets across, because it's man-on-man, Jalen's running into another guy. He can't get over there fast enough. Aaron Rodgers knew that. And it's just the subtleties. That's what I'm looking forward to. Professionalism, quite frankly, at the quarterback position. A guy that has the credibility that could put the Super Bowl championship ring on the table, and you just know. He walks into the room and you just know that he's got you. That's what I'm excited about. So amazing. So, it's going to take time. And Garrett Wilson will be a fun one because, we heard about Aaron Rodgers and the young receivers, how, he responds to them versus veteran receivers and things of that nature. But Jorge, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Sweet Caroline, have mercy. We appreciate the support, brother. Thank you. That is beautiful. I appreciate that. Thank you. Apparently, Jorge, just real quick, those are real diamonds. 100 carats and change. So it's something crazy. It took here's only the nuggets I know. I haven't reached out to my jeweler friend about this one. I just read some stuff about it. 100 carats. It took a couple months to prepare, custom jewelry. I mean, it was wow. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Okay, Ric Flair. Woo, baby. A little nature boy. Woohoo. A little bit of that action. That's how I believe. That's how I cut, my teeth as a Jets fan. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Embrace the opportunities. Embrace the expectations. That's the key for me. Chiefs tickets, you lucky bastard, Chewbacca 1971. Good for you, man. The only tickets I have secured at this point, and the trip and everything, is week 2 at Dallas. My dad's a diehard Cowboys fan. That's going to be magical. I can't wait for that. Of course, I'm going to games this year, but I haven't figured out any of those details yet. But Chiefs is a good one. There's so many great games. I mean, honestly, I'd love to go to a primetime game. That'd be a lot of fun. So TBD, but you lucky bastard. The Chiefs tickets, that's going to be excellent. Anthony Joseph. Yo, Boy Green, what do you think? We will quote unquote sweep or lose all 3 preseason games? This is the content we're here for on June 25th, Anthony. Preseason predictions. Let me see the schedule. What do we got? What do we got for the preseason? Let me go Jets schedule, actually. I know we've got Carolina. Oh, wow. I think I know them all off the top of my head. We got Jets Giants, Jets Carolina, and Jets Tampa Bay, I do believe, without even looking at it yet. Oh, no, obviously. Hall of Fame game, dummy. I'm a big dumb animal, folks. Let me throw this up on the big board for you guys. Let's throw this up there. I am a dumb animal. I had a momentary lapse in judgment. Here we go. Here is the schedule. So we got preseason game, Hall of Fame game, August 3rd, which, by the way, is right around the corner. We're on June 25th. We are, what is it, 1, 2, 3? We're 3 weeks away from training camp. Unbelievable. This is exciting. So we have the Hall of Fame game. That's going to be spectacular. Joe Klecko, Darrelle Revis, which, by the way, again, another reminder, we have a Hall of Fame guest joining us this week who has been, I just want to tease it in this way, who's been a key piece of Joe Klecko getting enshrined into the Hall of Fame. Quite frankly, Revis, for that matter. So I'm a Hall of Fame nerd. That's one of my proud follows on Twitter is the Pro Football Hall of Fame official account follows me. That's very nice. I'm a major football nerd. So that's beautiful. So you have the Hall of Fame game that's coming up on August 3rd. You got Carolina. We'll have joint practices for that one, reportedly. Buccaneers, Jets, August 19th. Jets, Giants. We'll have that one as well. Let me see. I'm going on a cruise, so I will miss the... Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to miss the Buccaneers-Jets game, and then I get back right before the Jets-Giants. I think that's how the cruise works out. It's like August 18th to the 25th, something like that. So I will see Jets-Giants, but I will miss Buccaneers-Jets. Unless someone has that on the cruise, that would be beautiful. So blame the fiance for that scheduling. But in terms of sweeping them, I don't know about sweeping them, Anthony. I can't give you any, crazy predictions on that. But I will say this, which answers the headline 40 minutes into the video. So apologize for that for all the Zach Wilson fans who tuned in for that. But I will say the thing I'm really excited about is, quite frankly, seeing Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers, let's be honest with all of ourselves right now. Aaron Rodgers ain't playing in the preseason. And nor should he, for that matter. He's a veteran. He can do whatever he wants. So it's going to be the Zach Wilson show. He's going to get plenty of ops with some of the starters, obviously, and others to just kind of show what he's learned. He's had, some months upon months to kind of reset himself, and he looks like he's having a lot of fun. And I will just say real quick on the Zach Wilson topic, since it's here, I've loved how he's handled adversity. It's not easy to be benched. It's not easy to not only be benched, to be replaced. Hey, you were the number 2 overall pick. You were the savior. Sit your ass on the bench. Aaron Rodgers coming to save the day. He's coming because you couldn't do the job. That's the truth. If Zach Wilson did his job, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be here. And Zach Wilson kind of admitted that, like, hey, I've got no one to blame but myself. I didn't play well enough. But, like, he's handled it well. For all the things he didn't handle well with, like, the question in the Patriots game, like, hey, well, it wasn't my fault, like, and it got all crazy. He's handled himself beautifully this offseason in the media opportunities we've seen, which are few and far between. But nonetheless, I've really liked how he's handled it, and I'm excited for the preseason to see him get some reps, to see him get a lot of the reps, bluntly. That should be an exciting part of the process. And I love the preseason personally. I know a lot of people don't. I love the hard Knoxian stories. I love rooting for the players in the bottom of the roster. I love the Jake Asman live stream earlier, the 53-man roster prediction. I love that kind of chatter, talking about this piece, what does this mean, predictions and all that. I love it. I dig it. But I know not everyone is a fan of some of the preseason action. Jason Kuntz making the roster, unless it's his evil twin brother. I believe you're talking about Zach Kuntz. But Jeremy Ruckert and Nick Bodden halfback blocking during Aaron's MVP year. Hack used a halfback in his offense. I believe you're talking H-back. A couple of things here. Zach Kuntz, man, I think the Jets are going to try to stash him on the practice squad. Now, I don't believe he makes it through. I believe someone takes a gamble on him and brings him on their roster. Although, sometimes I've been right with that, sometimes I've been wrong. Like Lawrence Cager, who initially made the 53, ultimately was trying to snuck on the practice squad, ends up on the Giants. Like, I think sometimes we overrate our players. Like Kenny Yeboah is a great example. Oh, man, this preseason star, he had the Hail Mary touchdown in the Eagles game. Like, no way. If he's on the practice squad, us Jet fans lose our minds in a month or two going, he's going to get stolen. He doesn't get stolen. Like, oh, like Chris Trevor last year, perfect example. He's going to get stolen. We can't put him there. And, of course, no one stole him. So sometimes we overrate it. I've advocated for Jeremy Ruckert to be this quasi fullback, replace Nick Bodden. It doesn't sound like the Jets agree. They're going to have him as a straight up tight end, but I would use him in that role because I think blocking prowess, I think that's a way to get him on the field. The tight end room is stacked. But yes, to your point, Hack has used a fullback before, so we'll see on Nick Bodden. I don't think he will keep one to keep one, but I think he could. If he doesn't, I think Ruckert is in that role. I just want to see him get on the field, the young man. Okay. Phenom. It's getting ready to get juicy 5 weeks from preseason football. AVT was a Swiss Army knife last season. Becton needs to be versatile on championship team. Guys need to be flexible in order to win. 100%. Let's go through a couple of these. Yep, preseason right around the corner. Love it. AVT was a Swiss Army knife. It sounds like he's fully healthy from everything we've heard from the Jets building. Phenomenal. And I would keep him at right guard personally. I wouldn't be moving him around all over the place, but versatility is nice to have in an emergency. Becton, if I'm Becton, here's the truth. Like, does it suck if this right tackle prophecy that I said comes to fruition? Of course it sucks. But if I'm Becton and all the weight he's lost should take less weight and pressure and everything on the joints, I'm just like, hey, man, it's a contract year. The Jets decline my 5th-year option. It's my ass on the line. It's my career on the line. And the best way to respond to adversity is to embrace it and play your ass off and then have this awesome year, fully healthy. And then all of a sudden, people got to make business decisions. Do the Jets franchise tag you? Do they give you a nice long-term deal? Does another team give you a nice long-term deal? Tag and trade? God only knows. But it's in your court, Mekhi Becton. If you suck or get injured, you're probably hitting the streets, pal. It's a tough business, but that's the way to do it, in my opinion. Bernard Dixon, do you think it hurts Rodgers' career that he went to 1 Super Bowl? I do not. And I'm going to be honest. Me and Ryan Clark got into beef. The ESPN former Steeler safety, and he blocked me for this. Ryan Clark went on the national television and criticized Rodgers for an ultimate underachiever of winning 1 Super Bowl. First off, Rodgers' 1 Super Bowl was against Ryan Clark in the Super Bowl, and they beat him. So some sour grapes is how it comes across. Number 2, winning the Super Bowl is freaking hard. I mean, Jet fans know better than anybody. It's been 50-plus gosh darn years, for Pete's sake. So, no, I don't at all. Like, obviously, I think of the Phillip Rivers Chargers teams that were sexy and flowing with talent. Darren Sproles, LaDainian Tomlinson, Vincent Jackson, Chris Chambers, Antonio Cromartie, Sean Merriman. I mean, come on. The talent was freaking unbelievable. Bob Sanders even was on that Chargers team late. So, like, that's an ultimate under. How the hell did that team not win a championship or 2? So it's just hard. Dan Marino never won one. Like, we could go through the names of guys that never did it, but we're still really great. But no, he's, to talk about the legacy for a second, Bernard, he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He, to me, is arguably the most talented quarterback of all time. That doesn't equate to best, but talented, like fitting the ball in the right window, the beautiful stroke. Like, there's a lot to love about Aaron Rodgers. But I think part of your perception, although Tom Brady did it and he had a lot of championships, is to try to do it in a different way and try to make something happy. So that's kind of what I'm excited about personally. So, no, I don't think it hurts his career. I think Dan Marino would say it hurts his career. He didn't have any. I'm sure Rodgers would say, I want more, because there's that perception to having no championships, to having 1 championship, to having 2 championships. Like Peyton Manning, even though the ghost of Peyton Manning won that 2nd Super Bowl with the Broncos, it was not because of him, it was the defense and all these other things. He's in a different category, winning a 2nd Super Bowl, being in that 2 championship club, as opposed to Drew Brees with only the 1 or Aaron Rodgers with only the 1. I think there are these tiers to the figures, in my opinion. All right, let's keep going here. We got a lot of great questions. Thank you, guys. Random live stream. I'm like, you know what? Let's freaking go on, baby. Let's make some things happen. Let me get a quick drink here. Beautiful. All right, let's get all these questions in. Hawk, I'm glad we play the Chiefs and Eagles this year because we get a chance to see them and scheme for them before we eventually have to play both of them en route to the ring. Interesting. That's another good point. Which is also, by the way, I mentioned some of the joint practices. Carolina, preseason. Tampa Bay, preseason. Giants not, of course, because the Jets play the Giants after the bye, which is week 8 in my head. So, but yeah, getting some tape on him was great. Boy Green meets Scooter in Dallas. A lot of people have reached out about going to Dallas. So, yes. I want to try to meet as many of you as possible. I will be with my father, so I'm not going to have my car on me. So I will be a slave to, I'll be a servant to wherever he ends up going all around town. But if we're at the game, I'd love to see you guys. Let's see. Jorge, I live in Seattle. I went to the game last January. That hurt to see MW suffer the destiny that was 2022. I may go to Las Vegas this year if I find a hot date. Yeah, Vegas one is fun. Again, another Sunday night football game. That's after the Chargers Monday night football game. So Vegas, that's a nice destination game. I think Cowboys, the Cowboys road, if you're trying to think of one for you and your buddies, Cowboys, week 2. The Raiders, which is week 10 off the top of my head, something like that. So that one is another good one. There's some good destination games, I think. Raw Power, give me the final wide receiver lineup prediction. Okay. I think it's currently constructed. I think the starting 3 will be Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Corey Davis in some form or fashion. We'll see who lines up where. But I believe that's what's going to happen. Again, I think ultimately Mecole Hardman will be in there as wide receiver 4. You have Randall Cobb at wide receiver 5. And then I think there will be a youngster. I don't believe it will be Denzel Mims. Sorry, Denzel Mims stands in our audience. I believe he's going to get traded or cut. It'll be Jason Brownlee. It'll be Jerome Cap. It'll be who's the little guy? God, his name escapes me. He's one that impressed as well. So, one of those guys will make the bottom end of the roster as the last guy, I believe. K. Newman, Zach will have a great preseason. I would love to see it. I'm excited for the young man. Can this defense finish number 1 in the league? Can they? Sure. Will they? I think there's going to be natural regression, AZ, personally. They were number 4 last year. Now, I've heard the people say, well, we played backup quarterbacks. I don't know. I would say in the same sense, they play with backup quarterbacks on offense. And that terrible offense, more times than not, put them in bad positions. So the defense was always up against it. So I think that goes both ways. But no, I think at worst, they're going to be top 10, though. I think that they're going to be top 10. And if you go top 10 on defense and your quarterback situation goes from like 33rd to 1st or top 5, I think that dramatic difference more than makes up the difference to be a minimum double-digit win team. Let's see. Zach's growing into the job. We'll have a great season. That'd be nice. Hopefully we don't see him. Nothing on Zach, but hopefully we don't see him, and more health would be nice. Hennessy Heisman joining us here late on I think it's a Sunday night. What's up, fellas? What's popping? Oh, my. K. Rodgers got 50 touchdowns, a 50 burger, and 5,000 yards this year. That'd be nice. I'm all for it, baby. So, yes, give me that. I'd be fine with over 40. Yeah, Greg says over 40. That'd be phenomenal. Marino's a legend, exactly to the point. So, it's not like he's a scrub because he didn't get a ring. I mean, let's see. Rico the Pup. Ryan Clark talking crap when Ben Roethlisberger won his first Super Bowl despite his play. 100% I remember that Super Bowl, which was the Seattle one. His second wasn't anything special either, but talking heads need to generate views. I guess that's true. Yeah, but that one to me just seems super lame on Ryan Clark's part. A couple more here real quick. Boyd Green, you may meet American YouTuber and diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, Scooter Magruder, who I'm a big fan of. I've been a big fan of Scooter for a long time. Does great work doing stuff with the Cowboys and stuff. That'd be fun. So we'll see if we can link up. That'd be nice. Okay, Rodgers would take the Jets to the playoffs and a Super Bowl. Playoffs would be great, and Super Bowl is my expectation. Yes, sir. David D. What are the New York Jets getting their own stadium? Probable locations, retractable dome. Yeah, what is it? You guys will know better than me. 2025, 2026, something like 2024, maybe? I'm terrible. The Jets have the opt-out. Will they? Won't they? I don't have any inside scoop on that, unfortunately, but I would love for them to get their own stadium. And again, I'm not really – all I can tell you is I can tell you when stadiums look great and when they look bad. But I'm the architect. Like, MetLife just looks like a big-ass air conditioner. Like, Allegiant Stadium, oh, my God. SoFi Stadium, oh, my God. I want to say, oh, my God, when I go to Jet Stadium, like, look at this palace. Like, that's what I want. And right now, obviously, it's not a palace. So, if you don't want to go Allegiant Stadium that far or SoFi Stadium, but give me something better. That's what I'm asking for. That'd be great. Oh, there you go. Going to week 1 or week 3, which, by the way, are 2 great ones to go to. You got Monday Night Football, home game, week 1. Then week 3 against the New England Patriots. Need I say more, Hennessy? Those great choices. Chef's kiss. Excellent work. I'm not surprised with a man of your class, your standard. Of course, you'd be picking those games. Excellent. Came in with the like button. Yes, sir. Who are we playing in the Super Bowl? Great question. Let's think. So obviously the Eagles could be. I don't think the NFC is very good. So, the path is a little clear on that side, of course. But Eagles could be. I really like the Cowboys. Again, it's because of my dad probably shoved down my throat. But I love CeeDee Lamb. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I love CeeDee. The defense is unbelievable. They could be a fun team. I'm trying to think of someone else. I don't buy the 49ers have a really good roster, but if your quarterback situation sucks, I don't know. Brock Purdy's arm exploded. We're all like, yeah, they'll figure it out. Sam Darnold, love? I mean, I don't know. I say it's Sam Darnold here. Maybe Kyle Shanahan could whisper in his ear and all of a sudden becomes an MVP. Maybe. I don't know. The 49ers stuff, I'm not sure if I buy. Maybe I'll look like an idiot. Probably. I've done that before. That would be beautiful. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for the questions. I want to make sure I get to a couple of notes and quotes here, a couple of nuggets before we get out of here. The Aaron Rodgers contract thing. Again, he is set to make just over $1 million this year, and he's due $107 million and change off the top of my head. We did an article about it earlier. Next year, that's coming inevitably. No matter what, the Jets have to rework Aaron Rodgers' contract. It was reworked initially to acquiesce a trade. Now it will be reworked again. And maybe it'll give a tip on whether or not we believe Aaron Rodgers is coming back next year. And number two, on the Quinnen Williams thing, technically the Jets don't have to pay him. I hope they do. If it was up to me, I would pay him. But they don't have to. They have him under contract through 2023, and they have the franchise tax in the back pocket. But for me, for team morale and everything, a man who's earned it, it's time to pay the man. Give him the bag. Field D8 said it'll be at least $22.5 million. I would expect 25 or 26 personally. And we figure it out. I think that's the numbers where we're going to see. Ultimately, that's where I think we get to. Again, Zach Wilson, I'm going to be really looking forward to his development in all these preseason game actions. And obviously, the Jets training camp storyline questions. The number one is the offensive tackle situation, what happens there, and health. And that sort of bag will be important, an important piece of the puzzle. Before I run through some Twitter nuggets, I want to get back to Hennessy here. Boy Green, how do you see us starting the season? I'm hoping that we could start 3-0. First six are tough, but we said the same last year. I'm going to have a video out on this tomorrow, but I just want to say that while the schedule may appear tough, the Jets are tough. People aren't looking at the Jets going up, Deb. They're looking at the Jets going, oh, shit. And then, whoop, flip it. The Jets are going to be given the business to some of these teams. How do I see it? I think the Jets and Bills is a 50-50 toss-up. Jets are at home. The Aaron Rodgers first start. I think the Jets can win that game. At Dallas, and I love my father, we're going to enjoy that game like nobody's business. Aaron Rodgers has had the Cowboys number regardless of what uniform he's been in. So I'm kind of fun with that. That'll be the first short week of the season for the Jets, so that'll be a test for sure. You have week 3 of the Patriots, dub. I think they're going to blow the barn doors off them, which is going to be one of my favorite experiences of all time. So you have one win there minimum with the Patriots. I think the Bills game is a 50-50 toss-up. I'd give a 60-40 edge to the Jets and the Cowboys game. And week 4, obviously, is incredibly tough, regardless of whether or not the Chiefs are at home or on the road or what have you. That one's going to be tough. And my schedule prediction, which I gave on heavy.com, we did a full piece about it, which, guys, by the way, I don't want to throw too much plugs at you. We've got a couple of things. If you check my videos, we're giving away an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey or any jersey of your choice. All you have to do to enter that contest, just search through my YouTube videos. You'll find it. There is a link to an article, and you submit your predictions for how you believe the 17 games are going to go. You don't just say 10-6. You go through and say they'll beat this team, lose to this team, win this, blah, 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 blah. Give your 17-week prediction in the comment section of that article, and you guys can win an Aaron Rodgers jersey. So, I mean, what more do I have to tell you? I don't think we've gotten a lot of submissions so far. So you guys have until the season to submit these predictions, so feel free to do so. And again, we're giving away an Aaron Rodgers Jets jersey. How more can you beat that? And it's absolutely free. All you have to do is submit your 17-week schedule prediction. Also, one other plug I suppose I will give is Jets Bills. We're doing a AFC East live debate on Tuesday at 4:30 here on my YouTube channel. And I'm going to be debating with a Bills expert. Who's going to win the AFC East between the Jets and the Bills? Who is going to win it? And I will argue for the Jets, obviously. And Emily Bix of heavy.com will argue for the Buffalo Bills. So I hope you guys can join us for that live show. It's our first debate series, and I hope it goes great. And your support would be wonderful. And you guys can submit questions right now for that debate. That video is also up on my YouTube in the live section. Go into that heavy article and submit your questions for Jets or Bills or anything in between. We'd appreciate it. Guys, thanks for tuning in randomly here on a Sunday night. It warms my heart. We'll have to try to do some more live streams, certainly moving forward randomly. We will have a couple of big guests this week, so keep an eye out. Like I said, we should have a Jet starter this week joining us on the show. We should have a Hall of Fame insider joining us. And I think there's one more. Obviously the AFC East live debate and some more action potentially to come. So, guys, stay tuned to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you again to Jorge for giving us that love on the program. I truly appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Like the video. Hit subscribe on the way out. Thank you very much.